one of the things that I've talked about is the fact that I would do an audit of every position in city government. Again, you're not going to do that on day one, but you begin the process to see what positions in city government are serving the people of the city of Springfield. Because one of the things, if you're going to get a handle on the financial problems of the city of Springfield, the only way you do that is through people. You can postpone purchases, but you have that purchase next year. The only way you have an out-year impact is on people. And so one of the things that if you're going to deal with the problems of the city of Springfield and get a handle on the financial situation, you got to right-size city government. Go through and eliminate the political positions that are in city government. The way you do that is to look at every position in city government and see exactly what its function is. Look at the background and qualifications of the people that are holding those jobs. Did they get that job based on the fact that they've got a background and experience, or did they get that job as a result of who they know? I would look at every personal services contract within the city of Springfield to see exactly what kinds of contracts we have to provide personal services, so that we can again see who is being paid and what they are being paid for out of city finances. I would deal with the budget, and I would look to put a professional in to run city water, light, and power.
First thing you do?
The first thing I would do is do a line-by-line audit of the books, which I believe Mayor Edwards is doing now, so hopefully we will be ahead of the game when we get there. Secondly, like Mike said, do an audit of the personnel. We need to figure out, there's a lot of rumors out there saying that this person doesn't work, this person does work. We need to have a personnel audit, find out who is doing the work, who is not doing the work. After that, we would go through and we would put all of the personal service contracts online for the public to see. It's time to have some transparency in government and let the people out there know what's going on. So after we got those things done, then we would go on and try and fix the problems, try and come up with new and innovative ideas on how we can make government more efficient.
Just for both of you, who would do these audits? I mean, obviously you have a whole city to run. Are you going to look outside to get help for that, or do you want to look internally, hire people to help do that for you?
Do you want to?
I'll let you go first.
Okay. All right. Well, one of the things the county has done is they brought out some outside people to look at the departments and see where these departments can be more efficient. Obviously, the directors are going to have to go through and do a personnel audit, but the mayor themselves should get heavily involved in that, to figure out exactly what's going on.
So did you just say outside or not outside? The county did outside. Should the city do outside?
Yeah, I think that's one of the things we should look at, is bringing some outside people in to kind of audit and figure out, are there different ways that we can be more efficient. But also your directors as well as the mayor will go through and do that.
And what does that cost, like $40,000, $100,000?
It just depends on the department. I think it depends on the size of the department and all that. So
I would not use an outside consulting firm or an accounting firm. What I would do is use people that have some familiarity with city government, that I personally trust, and that I know that would give me non-political results in terms of what people are in fact doing.
Are you talking about from within city government or friends or volunteers from outside?
This could be people who have been in city government in the past, or people who may have a familiarity with city government.
Okay, what I'm going to, if elected, the first thing I'm going to do is review the budget that I inherit from that budget that's being crafted by the President, City Council, and Mayor Edwards. So I want to get my arms around and provide the appropriate oversight for our revenues and expenses. That's the very first thing we're going to do. The next thing I'm going to do is ensure that we have adequate public safety, and because if we're not safe as a community, then nothing else matters. But after that, as I mentioned in my response to you, that I will immediately and aggressively start marketing the city of Springfield. I'm not going to spend time conducting an audit. We have a downsized government. I think several of the reporters have been present for the last 3 or 4 years, where the aldermen have gone through the budget line item by line item. We have a smaller city budget already. It's $38 million less than it was in 2008. We're short-handed, as a matter of fact, and there may be, by the time the new mayor is elected, there may be even less city employees. But then I will immediately and aggressively start marketing the city. We are well positioned for growth, and that's the way we'll solve our problem. I don't know if you know, the president on down, everybody understands that the way that we we emerge from this economic recession is to grow our city. I've talked to so many business people in the last several weeks, and every one of them, I ask them how they're doing, and they say they're doing better. We're climbing out of it. We had a better year. Things are looking better. The one thing every one of them said before I answered was, even though it's been bad, we continue to sell. We continue to sell our product. We're more aggressive. And that's what the city of Springfield has to do. And why do we do that? Here's why we do it. Because we have a great product. We have a new power plant. We have a new water treatment plant. We have new sewage capacity coming online, which Mike Bohr and I clamored for 20 years ago. We are in a position to grow the community. Do we have challenges? Absolutely correct, we do. And we will address those. But in order to generate the revenues we need, and in order to generate the enthusiasm, and in order to grow our community, we have to sell our community. And that's exactly what I intend to do. And that will be followed up by any project that's in the pipeline. I will expedite. I'm going to leverage every program we have, community development block grant, tax increment financing, enterprise zones, to move those projects forward, to employ people, to improve our central area and other areas of the state, and keep an eye on the projects that we currently have in the pipeline. Shields, June 25th, is going to open their doors. That's going to add new property tax, new sales tax. In that orbit of Shields, which is a destination retailer, you will see additional investment in the upcoming year to 18 months. That will continue to add to our revenues. So I will aggressively endeavor to get those projects through the pipeline, up and running, get people employed, start the revenue churn to begin.
Well, first thing that I'm going to do as mayor is I'm going to take a 10% pay cut and require that my directors take a 5% cut. And at the same time, I'm going to be requiring my department directors to give them 60 days to present me with a comprehensive review of their departments, looking, not only at, job titles and all of that kind of stuff, but really looking at sort of from a performance standpoint, looking at what our goals are in each of the departments, what are the outcomes have been, what are our missed opportunities, what are the things that we'd like to do that we're not able to do, and present that to me within 60 days so that we can take a really close look at how we move forward and hopefully, improve services within the city and streamline things and reduce duplication and all those kinds of things and make it make our city work better.
Well, one of my main concerns and reasons for running is that I tend to be more fiscally conservative. And one of the things I've noticed as I've paid attention over the past couple of years is that, again, I was paying attention even before moving here just because I read the SJR every day. I've been a subscriber for 10 years. And what? Well, I watch the local news too, but anyway, but the fact is I have paid attention. And the fact is the way the city spends money is something that I've been in disagreement with for a long time. The taxes have been raised, something like 8 times or 7 times in the past 8 years, and that is contrary to what I believe the philosophy of government administration should be about. So one of the first things I would do is I would implement, given the fact that Mayor Edwards has already said that there's going to be a deficit for the new mayor, is the very first thing on day one I would do is implement a 3 to 5% reserve or freeze on corporate fund spending until I could get my hands on, move into the second phase of what I want to do, which is become intimately familiar with all aspects of the city budget. Public finance is what I do for a living, so fortunately for me, it's not going to take long. I can look at the budget now, the very detailed budget down to the object code, and understand exactly what's going on. I've already been doing some of that when I'm not campaigning. But it's important for me to know where we're spending money out of what departments and where it's going to. So until I can get a handle on that, a freeze or reserve would be, I think, necessary, given the fact that the current mayor has already admitted that we're stepping into a deficit situation. And then the next thing is, and I've already talked in my profile about this, was the human resources audit that I want to do. And that would focus on redundancies, newly created positions, span of control issues, which is just simply another way of saying subordinates to supervisors ratio. And the other thing that I've recently found out in doing some research is that there have been some inordinate salary increases that have occurred over the last couple of years. I found 5 in CWOP that occurred on October 31st of 2008. 5 managers were given promotions that on paper appear to be really no change at all. Change from director of finance to finance director, or director of this to, I think one was information systems, and there were a couple of other ones. Anyway, it appeared to be just a way to get around giving normal raises, and the raises that accompanied those promotions were somewhere in the range of 20%, give or take. So I'd be looking at instances like that on a deeper level to find out where those have occurred, and when necessary, take action to maybe correct those situations and find out. So those would be the first few things I would do.
First thing you do if you're elected.
Well, there would be more spikes for the management of the police or fire department to send the message to the rank and file. My administration will always start at the top for cuts. I've sat through 12 years and 8 years of the tax raises that we did pass. We were borrowing money for the water department, so there were certain taxes that had to be raised and certain rates that had to be raised, because the first 4 years I sit on city council, that mayor wouldn't do anything to stop the bleeding. And we were in a deficit 8 years ago, and we're still in a deficit. We have to change the way it comes down to get rid of people. You're going to have to do it by attrition or just out-and-out layoffs. The majority of our budget is for salaries and benefits. Since I've been on, we probably raised $40, $50 million in taxes, and it's all went to the employees for their health insurance, their pensions, and their salaries, and that's where you're going to have to cut. There is really no fat other than, I would do away with all magazines. I'd do away with everything that doesn't need to run the city on a day-to-day basis. That'd be the first thing that I do. I personally would never travel on city money again. If I went to the Washington lobby, I'd use my own money. You're going to have to go through those things, and then as each union contract comes up, you're going to have to renegotiate, and it's probably going to be a two-tier wage scale and stuff, because you're not going to be able to get people to accept a wage cut that are working. But the only way we're ever going to get out of this is down the line when each contract comes up. We're going to have to do what private companies do. We're going to have to lower the starting rates for people starting out, and that's 80-some% of our budget is nothing but salaries. And you're locked into all the pensions for here to now. You can't change the pensions. So the only thing you're going to do is you're going to have to start. And it's going to take, you may not be able to solve it in the 4 years of this term. Because I think Public Works has like 3 contracts coming due this summer. That would be the first thing the mayor's going to have to start with. Some of them aren't going to be till the second, third year of your term. And by then, the raises are already there. You can't break the contracts. So we're in for a long haul here, and basically you're going to have to downsize the city of Springfield's employees.
You lowered starting rates for police and fire too?
Everybody. I mean, I think the city's going to have to realize just what every private business in America has realized.
I guess we'd, as everybody that I've caught, except I didn't get to hear Sheila's comment, is probably look at the budgets, and that's what you guys were expressing when I was walking in the door. There's 1,600 employees, I would assume, right now on the payroll. And with that number, I'd have to really kind of see where the duplication occurs of the same positions, or if not, we can downsize on that.